Ever wish there wasn't that delay in the interview on your favorite news show or the conversation on your favorite podcast when it's all too apparent that the host and guest are speaking remotely? Well, 5G technology, which is expected to be used by over 1 billion people by 2025, all but eliminates this nuisance. In engineering circles, the delay between a virtual software's response to an action input is known as latency. And compared to 3G's latency of 100 milliseconds and 4G's of 30 milliseconds, 5G's latency is a whopping 1 millisecond. Some hope advances can get it even faster than that. In this virtual quarantined world, creating the illusion that we are with someone when we're not is paramount. But the ramifications of 5G will stretch far beyond a podcast host's ability to please his audience. They will be felt in an endless array of revolutionary advances in technology, such as with self-driving cars, virtual and augmented reality, and telemedicine. The future success of all these industries depends on low latency capability. While the potential for advancement due to 5G technology is exponential, what's holding us back are the logistical logjams preventing it from wide-scale use. The crux of the issue is that most mobile networks operate using different frequency bands on the radio frequency spectrum, as measured in mega and gigahertz. The higher on the band, or the higher the wave frequency, the faster data can transmit from one source to another. The lower the band, the lower the speed. Categorically speaking, the spectrum can be broken up into 3 sections of bands: low, mid, and high. Low band operates on less than 1 gigahertz of frequency. Mid band between 1 and 6 gigahertz. High band, the pinnacle of the 5G wave spectrum, also referred to as millimeter wave, is anything above 24 gigahertz. Operating in the highest stratospheres of the high band section is where the potential for the highest efficiency and speed lies. The issue is that the higher the frequency the network operates on, the less dynamic the signal range is. Whereas lower bands can cover hundreds of square miles and penetrate physical obstructions such as trees and tall buildings, higher bands are easily obstructed by these obstacles. Thus, they can't cover a lot of ground, sometimes less than a single mile. In turn, carriers must install droves of what are called small access sites in order to combat the low range of the higher frequency networks. These small access sites are small, the size and shape of a pizza box, and can be placed onto existing cell towers or on top of buildings. The sites have already started to be rolled out in cities worldwide, yet wide-scale rollout will take some time. The mid-band level, also known as sub-6, hovers somewhere between the frequencies of 2 and 6 gigahertz. This is widely viewed as the sweet spot in balancing both high-speed transmission and favorable signal range. But today, mobile carriers use a combination of low, mid, and high bands for their 5G coverages. For example, T-Mobile has a network comprised of mostly low-band 600 MHz cells. This brings more modest 5G coverage to large swaths of the country. On the flip side, Verizon is leading the charge in the high-band sphere, holding 76% of the nation's available 28 GHz bands and 46% of the available 39 GHz ones. Yet this only caters to locations in cities and stadiums where many people cover small, unobstructed segments of real estate. So back to the notion of latency. The low latency capabilities of 5G is higher than the processing capabilities of humans, whereas the time it takes for data to be passed between the human eye and the brain is 10 milliseconds. 5G latency periods can be as fast or even faster than 1 millisecond. It's no wonder why some are so high on 5G's ability to propel AI capabilities into the next generation. Take the self-driving car, an autonomous vehicle that can analyze data with a latency of 1 millisecond can process information 1,000 times faster than a human. This would mean that when necessary, it can apply brakes in under 1 centimeter. Coupled with the many maladies that can hinder a human driver's reaction times, can avoid countless car accidents and save lives. Another benefit of 5G is capacity. 5G is expected to have as much as 100 times the capacity of 4G. This would increase the number of mobile devices able to be used in a given area and prevent crashes in high-traffic areas. Lastly, 5G will drastically lower the speed in which you can perform cellular tasks, such as downloading 4K movies and surfing the web. Mid-band and high-band 5G networks can expect to see download speeds anywhere up to 1 to 10 gigabytes per second, or a 10 to 100% increase. This will allow us to do things like download 4K movies in a matter of seconds and even stream them using cellular data. If after all of this you're thinking, so what? I'm not a gamer, I don't care about lag. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm patient, I don't mind waiting a few extra minutes to download a movie. You're of course entitled to these opinions. But many major companies, as well as governments around the world, would tend to disagree. Many private companies like the NFL and the Ford Motor Company have already set up their own private 5G networks to be used in lieu of Wi-Fi networks. The consulting company Deloitte predicts that by the end of 2020, over 100 companies worldwide will have set up the infrastructure to support their private usage of 5G technology. And internationally, there is a broad competition for the future of 5G capabilities going on as we speak. Countries are racing to become the leader in 5G technology. After all, the US's win in being the pioneer of 4G technology in the early 2000s is why companies such as Instagram, Snapchat, Uber, and Netflix became the companies that they are today. So the race is on for which country will lead the charge into wide-scale 5G usage, and by default for the next generation of leading mobile technology companies. And it's widely viewed that the US's biggest competitor is China, whose ability to create and integrate laws with little to no public pushback gives it a leg up in the race to 5G. This is due to the ability to roll out the large numbers of 5G cells needed to power the highest 5G frequencies. After all, how often have you heard of people complaining about a new cell tower that ruins their view? Or maybe you've even been the protester yourself, or at the very least, signed a petition to remove one. Competition has gotten so fierce that the US and several other countries have even banned the usage of 5G network materials that were made by Huawei, the Chinese company and worldwide leader in 5G equipment manufacturing. This is due to fears of national security given the company's ties to the Chinese government. Many are also worried that China will dominate in the implementation of the Internet of Things, a hypothetical interconnected network of physical objects that use 5G technology to communicate with one another. To do this and allow inanimate objects to talk to each other, lots of data is needed. And when more objects get fed into the network, more data is created. Because China has more people and hence more devices in use, it is seen that they have a leg up in the data race. So while some are excited by 5G's capability to stream 8K movies on the subway, or to allow a doctor in Geneva to administer an ACL surgery to a patient in Los Angeles, others believe that high-frequency bands that 5G operates on give us diseases such as cancer. Yes, you may have heard or read about the many protests and conspiracy theories that have come about that claim that electromagnetic radiation from 5G frequency waves can cause several types of cancer, or that the 5G cell towers are one of the primary spreaders of COVID-19. So while these ludicrous conspiracy theories have been proven to be false, there are small drawbacks to 5G that have yet to be hammered out, such as its inability to decrease upload speed, and its penchant for eating up cell phone battery. Others may simply not see how this technology is a paradigm shifter, but 5G technology is coming regardless of what camp you're in. Therefore, many think that the only option we face is to use its immense capabilities to repair our relationship with technology. That by taking advantage of all the benefits 5G can bring us, we can build a closer, more symbiotic relationship to our technology, and thus with ourselves.